I want to share something that took me a long time to admit to myself. For years, I thought I was building a business. I was posting consistently, showing up on social media, sharing products, sending messages, trying to get people to follow a link, follow up on a conversation. But I wasn't building a business. I was posting and hoping every single day, starting over from scratch every single morning with no foundation to build the momentum that I was trying to create. So today I want to talk about what building on borrowed ground actually costs you. And not just the practical risks that you've probably already heard about, but the real cost, the human cost. And what changes when you finally build on something that belongs to you. So here's what my business actually looked like. I would create content and post it, and then I would wait. I would hope someone clicked. I would hope someone followed the link, hope someone reached out. And when someone did buy, when that one sale actually happened, it felt great for about a day. And then I had to start all over again because there was no back end. There was no ecosystem to retain those people and keep them in my world. No community creating connection and loyalty. No offers waiting naturally for someone who had already said yes once. But just me posting and starting over every single day. And here's the thing about that grind that doesn't get talked about. It's not just exhausting, it's demoralizing. Because no matter how hard you work or how consistent you are, the needle barely moves. You're pouring energy into a bucket with no bottom. And at some point, your body starts sending you signals that this is not sustainable. Some of us just aren't interested in foregoing our health to hustle all hours of the day. And we shouldn't have to. If your business requires you to be actively pushing every single day just to keep it alive, that's not a business. That's a grind. And the difference between a grind and a business is infrastructure. Something underneath you that catches the momentum you're creating and keeps it working even when you step away. When people talk about the risks of building on borrowed ground, they usually talk about the practical stuff, like the algorithm changing or the platform shutting down, the company closing. And those risks are real. But the cost I want to talk about today, the costs are different. And I think actually more damaging over time. The cost of time, not just the hours you spent on platforms that didn't compound, the years of building something that had no foundation underneath it, that couldn't grow, couldn't scale, couldn't catch you if something in your life had changed. Years that could have been spent building something real. The cost of money, the courses, the tools, the subscriptions, all in service of a structure that was never going to give you what you were actually looking for. And the cost that's hardest to name, the cost to your sense of self. Because when you spend years doing something that never quite feels like it's working, when you keep showing up and the results don't reflect the effort, you start to wonder if the problem is you, if you're not smart enough or consistent enough or good enough to make this work. But it's the foundation or lack thereof. The borrowed ground problem doesn't just cost you time and money, it costs you belief in yourself. And that might be the most expensive thing it takes, because without that belief, you stop trying, or you keep trying in ways that will never work. Either way, you lose. So I want to tell you what changes when you finally build on something that belongs to you, because this is the part that's hardest to imagine when you're still in the middle phase. It starts with an email list. That first step of having a way to reach people directly changes how the whole thing feels, because now when you create something, you can tell people about it. People who raised their hand and said, yes, I want to hear from you. And that's a relationship that you own. And it builds from there. A community space that belongs to you. Content that lives somewhere long enough to actually compound. Offers that fit naturally inside an ecosystem so that one yes leads to another without you having to start the conversation from scratch every time. And here's something I want to say that goes beyond the business strategy. Build something that's yours regardless of what changes in your life. Not just because it's smart business, but because you deserve to have something that can catch you if you need it to. Something that belongs to you before you need it to save you. The goal isn't just passive income or a bigger audience or a better content strategy. The goal is something that's genuinely yours, that travels with you, that holds regardless of what any platform, any company, or any circumstance decides to do. And that's what you're actually building toward. And it starts with getting the foundation right. So here's the takeaway today. What you've been doing wasn't wrong. You were working with what you were given and what you were taught. But posting and hoping on platforms that you don't own for a business with no back end and no ecosystem underneath is not going to get you where you're trying to go. The fix isn't more posting. It's a foundation, something that belongs to you, that compounds instead of resets and catches you instead of requiring you to start over every single day. And I have something coming very soon that's going to show you exactly how to build that faster and more completely than most people think is possible right now. So stay close. And in the meantime, the Authority Audit will show you exactly where your foundation gaps are. It's free. The link is in the description. And I'd love it if you drop a comment before you go. Answer me. Does your business feel like it's compounding right now, or does it feel like you're starting over from scratch every morning? I would love to hear from you. I want to know where you're actually at with this. And I will see you in the next video.